Well, good morning. I think what we're going to do today is we're going to go on the light side for a little bit. We just came off of Mother's Day, and Mother's Day has many memories for all of us, right? Then Memorial Day, where we celebrate the lives of the people who gave everything so we could have it all. I thought we'd just have a little fun today. And how much more fun can you have than to talk about my dear father and the way they had their fun when he was growing up? Now, one thing they did was they had corn cob fights. That sounds generic, don't it? But what if you soaked that corn cob in oil before you started throwing them at one another? Or what if you soaked them in a mud hole? Just get them good and soggy and hard and wet, What if you did that? Well, now, if you didn't have either one of those things, now stay with me here. What if you soak them in that used grass that a cow expunges from its body once it gets all the nutrients it can out of it? Now just let that marinate for a minute. It'll come to you, I promise. But we're not going to talk about that in any detail. But they did do it. One of their favorite things to do, especially in the summertime, they would go on watermelon raids. Now, I've been on one or two of these in my time, too. This particular night I'm telling you about, I am convinced, I know my daddy never forgot about it because he's the one that told me the story. I'm convinced none of the young fellows that were on this little escapade this night ever forgot about it. A really well-laid plan. There's a field of watermelons, just full. On the far side of that field, there's a large 2-story white house, right? They got somebody planted, because the house is empty now, nobody living in it. You got somebody planted in that top story bedroom window. He's got a shotgun. It's going to be good, isn't it? So, Dad and the gang have a friend, well, same thing. And they have determined this person on this night is going to be the brunt of a joke. So the fella in the house, he has a sign. When somebody hollers, "Ooh, looky yonder, that's a great big one. We got to have that one." When he hears that, he's supposed to shower them down with "get out of my field" comments, and "I told you what would happen," and shoot that shotgun up in the air. You see this coming? You really don't. But look at this. Here they go, dead of night. Dark as dark can be. They're out in this field, and they get close enough to that house. And one of the gang hollers, "Ooh, looky yonder, that's a big one. We got to have that one." The fella in the 2-story bedroom window up on the 2nd story of the house there, he hollers, "I told y'all to stay out of my field. I told you that I was going to shoot somebody. The next time I found boys in my field, and bless God, one of y'all fixing to wear some metal that you can't dig out." Bam! Shoots that shotgun. Now, one of the fellas has got, I don't know how they hid this, he's got an overripe tomato or something in a light-colored shirt pocket. That shotgun goes off. He hits that shirt. The tomato just obliterates itself in his shirt. Can you picture how it must have looked? And he hollers something like, "The dang fool shot me!" And he does the world's best death fall. And he does an Academy Award death stare. And the hand falls limp. The shirt is wet. And this fellow they brought with them to be the brunt of the joke, he is convinced he just saw somebody die. The plan was for everybody to run back to the edge of the road and have a good laugh while they sprung on him he had been had. But when they got to the edge of the road, he just kept on doing the scalded dog boogie. He was gone, neighbor. I mean, he was solid gone. Well, they didn't think they could catch him anyhow, so they decided just to go off to the house. It'd been a good night. They scared him to death, and they would hear from him tomorrow. But wait a minute. You're right. They will hear from him tomorrow. This ain't over yet. Just after daylight, all of these boys are rousted out of their beds. And they are herded right back to that field. That field is now full of police officers. They're looking everywhere for a dead body. And standing right in the middle of that field is guess who? The fellow that was the brunt of the joke. Standing in the middle of the field with his arms folded and a big old grin on his face. By now, he done figured out what happened, but he ain't fixing to tell nobody. He's going to let them think just exactly what he told them when he ran almost 2 miles to the police station the night before. And he will leave it to my dad and the gang to have to explain what really happened. Can you see it, neighbor? Can you see the police officer? I don't know if it was that way. There wasn't no city. It had to be the sheriff. Can you see him dressing them down? You mean to tell me that I've got my resources out here, my men, looking all over this field for a dead body that don't exist just so that you could scare a fella bad enough where he had to change his drawers when he got home? You telling me that's what happened? Is that what? I cannot imagine. I imagine they had to do some hard explaining that day. And you know what? I've thought about it a lot. And when I get to heaven, I think I'm going to ask Daddy. Right after I get done hugging on Jesus and Mama and Daddy and my sister Veritha, who's up there waiting for me too. When all that's over, I got to pull Daddy to the side. And I got to ask him, was there ever another watermelon raid in your life after that night? You know, just for kicks and giggles. Heaven's a happy place after all, isn't it? You are going, right? Heaven would be a little bit less, maybe, without you. But it ain't going to keep me from celebrating. Neighbor, buy your watermelon at the store. It's a lot less risky. You have a great day. God bless your heart for coming back. Thank you so much for your support. Don't forget, subscribe, like, share, leave some comments for me. Let me know what you think. Maybe you got a story you'd like to hear me tell. Trust me, I can tell a story, neighbor. Have a great day. I love y'all. Bye-bye.